You've probably heard this verse before, Isaiah 40:31. But what if I told you it's not written for the strong? It's written for the one who's tired, drained, running on empty. The one who's been trying to hold it together, but quietly breaking. Because this verse isn't about people who have strength. It's about people who have run out of it. And what it promises next changes everything. So let me just start with this question. What if this incredible promise about soaring like an eagle wasn't just some beautiful poetry for a good day? What if it was actually a lifeline, a survival promise for people who had lost literally everything? Because let's be honest, when you are truly beyond tired, soaring is the last thing you feel capable of. You see, to really feel the power of this verse, we have to know the backstory. This promise wasn't written in a time of peace and victory. No, this was a promise born right in the middle of a devastating national crisis. The people of Israel were exiles in Babylon. Think about that for a second. Their home gone, their sacred temple, the center of their entire world, reduced to rubble. Their very identity as a people was completely crushed. They were physically and spiritually running on empty, wondering if God had just forgotten them. Now, this is where it gets so relatable. That ancient feeling of exile, it has echoes in our world, doesn't it? Maybe it's not Babylon, but it's a feeling of cultural confusion. The temple isn't destroyed, but you're dealing with total personal burnout. The question shifts from, has God forgotten us? To, will anything ever change? The ache is the same, and it's right into that pit of exhaustion that Isaiah drops the first part of the promise, those who wait on the Lord. But what does that word wait actually mean? Because our modern idea of waiting might be totally wrong. The original Hebrew word here is kava. And get this, it has nothing to do with passively sitting around killing time. It's an active, powerful word. It means to hope, to anticipate, to stretch with expectation. Imagine a rope or a cord pulled tight, buzzing with tension. That's kava. This comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? We think of waiting as resignation, as doing nothing, thinking nothing is happening. But this biblical idea of kava is the exact opposite. It's holding on for dear life. It's the deep down anticipation that something is coming. It means you do everything you have to do each day, but your heart is tethered to the promise that God is at work, even when you can't see a thing. And this kind of waiting, it's not a punishment. It's a period of formation. It's discipleship. I mean, look at the giants of the faith. Abraham waited decades for the son he was promised. Joseph spent 13 years as a slave and a prisoner between the pit and the palace. David was anointed king and then spent years on the run as a fugitive. This waiting period is never ever wasted time. So with that fresh understanding of an active, expectant wait, let's hear the verse again. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. It just hits differently, right? Okay. But what is this strength? The verse says we'll renew it. Now, this isn't about digging deep and finding a little more energy inside ourselves. No, this is talking about something else entirely, something divine. This is the gamesher. The Hebrew word for renew here means a complete exchange, a trade. The best analogy is a dead battery. You don't try to recharge it. You take it out and replace it with a brand new, fully charged one. This promise is a total trade. Your burnout for his endless strength, your weakness for his power. You're not just being refilled. Your power source is being replaced. And we see this principle all over the Bible. Think of Elijah collapsing under a tree ready to die. He's renewed not by a pep talk, but by supernatural food from an angel. Or David at his absolute lowest point, having lost everything. He doesn't use positive self-talk. The text says he strengthened himself in the Lord. Even Jesus and the agony of Gethsemane receive strength from an angel. It's a divine infusion for when human strength is completely gone. So the promise then unfolds into 3 distinct actions. And what's amazing is how they apply to different seasons of our lives. This isn't just a generic one-size-fits-all strength. It's specifically tailored for whatever challenge you're facing. First, we will soar. And you have to understand how eagles do this. They don't fly away from storms. They fly into them, lock their wings, and use the violent updrafts, the very thing that looks like a threat to lift them higher. Soaring isn't about escaping your problems. It's about getting God's perspective to rise above them. Next, we will run and not grow weary. This is for the sprints of life. You know those seasons, the sudden crisis, the intense deadline, the period where you have to give every last ounce of what you've got. This is a promise of divine horsepower to keep going when life goes into overdrive. And finally, and honestly, this might be the most profound promise of all. We will walk and not faint. This is for the marathon. This is for the daily grind. This is for the quiet, unseen faithfulness when nobody is cheering. It's God's promise of supernatural endurance for the person who simply has to get up and do it all over again tomorrow. So, let's bring this home. This ancient word spoken to exiles thousands of years ago isn't just a museum piece. It is a living, breathing promise meant for you right here, right now. I want to be crystal clear about this. Isaiah 40:31 is not a motivational poster for people who already have it all together. It is a lifeline. It's a rescue rope thrown to the person who is tired, burnt out, and secretly thinking about quitting. So who is this for? It's for the person who feels completely invisible. It's for the one who remembers being on fire for God, but now just feels empty. It's for the parent, the caregiver, the friend who is pouring themselves out day after day and wondering if it's making any difference at all. It's for you, the one who keeps showing up, keeps serving, keeps praying even in the silence. And this idea doesn't stop in the Old Testament. The Apostle Paul picks up this exact same theme of divine exchange. He says, look, even while everything on the outside is wearing us down, on the inside we are being renewed day by that same divine power. So we're going to end with this. The question isn't whether some ancient verse still applies today. God's promises don't have an expiration date. No, the real question, the one that changes everything, is much more personal. It's this: will you dare to believe this promise is for you? Will you dare to believe that it's yours?